Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back. The City of Lake City is excited to open the doors to Studios 106 once again. And joining us today is Mary Kelly. She's the Executive Director of the Greater Lake City Chamber of Commerce
That's
for your
correct.
first quarterly Chamber Update of the year.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for having us. We are so excited with all the great things that have already been going on this quarter. In January, we moved from the old train depot to 110 East Main Street, which is also home to the Visit Lake City offices. And we share space with them and other Lake City Alliance individuals. But it's a great space for us. It's got us right in the middle of everything happening on Main Street, easy to find. We did like all of the space that we had in the train depot. It was kind of tough, downsizing. But with all the fantastic opportunities that are there, it was definitely the best thing for us.
And so, how did this come about? Because whenever I heard about it, I was kind of surprised. I was like, they're moving?
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of it we aren't talking about,
Right.
but it's an older building. It's historic. It was previously obviously owned by CSX, since it is the historic train depot. Right up against the train tracks. We did own all of the property, the buildings and the dirt. But CSX has an interesting caveat when they have depots and buildings that they had originally built. They are close to the train tracks, and you cannot legally build that close to the train tracks anymore. If anything were to ever happen to the building, if it were to catastrophically burn down or tornado, anything like that, we would have been unable to build back on that precise property. But not to say that a different kind of structure couldn't have gone there. But the Darla Moore Foundation, we came together with a good agreement for all parties, and Ms. Moore is a wonderful caretaker of so many buildings in Lake City. She has taken on decrepit buildings, buildings that needed TLC, buildings that needed a lot of repair, but the buildings that we have had do not necessarily need so much repair like that. They need updating, but they need to be under the ownership of someone that will take care of them, and also have them open. Hopefully, I don't know the plans for it, but keeping with what those buildings were originally put there for. And I feel like she has so many people on her staff and in her different organizations that will take care of that building and make it something beautiful, that it was a really good deal for everybody involved. And we were very excited. They were generous, and we are in that spot at 110 East Main, getting ready to put our logo on the window by the end of the week. So yeah, it's kind of like reopening a new chamber. We're in a new location, lots of exciting energy and people to work with, and we just are thrilled.
We've had several people come to our office here at 106 East Main, and they say, "Is this the chamber?" I'm like, "No, two doors down."
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. That's very good, and we feel like
And having
they can
everybody
find
right
it.
here together too is just
Very positive.
very.
It is. Everybody can find what they need. If they can't find it online, they can always call us. They tend to call the chamber anyway as the 411, and so yeah, they can call us. They can check us out online. It's all very good.
And so let's talk about some of the things the chamber's been doing lately. One of the things you've been doing lately is biscuits in the morning, like once a month.
Biscuits in Business. It is a morning networking event. In January, we had it at the Chamber of Commerce, our new office, and we had a representative there from Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina. BCBS has good programs for small businesses with 2 to 50 employees. They, of course, also cover 50 and up employees, but they have these very good small business programs available, and they have worked some of it to be specific for chamber members. And so it's a program that benefits the chambers as well as the people that are getting the service. And so we had a fellow there that was representing them, And so we had a good crowd coming through. Earlier this week, we had Biscuits in Business at Palmetto Printing. They are under new ownership of George Williamson. He purchased it, and they've opened it up. Now they're doing more screen printing and the embroidery, as well as the typical print for banners and paper goods. But Williamson Printing has locations in other places, Orangeburg, Marion, and there are a couple other spots I couldn't say right off. But George and his wife and his family were there, and so we had a nice crowd coming in, and that was a lot of fun just
Very
for people
good.
to drop in. And so it's a way to get back out there. And actually, coming up later this week, tomorrow exactly, February 23rd, we've got our $10,000 drawing. It's one of our biggest fundraisers of the year. It's a 50-50 drawing. We sell 250 tickets at $100 a piece, and guaranteed payout of $12,500, which isn't a bad deal, especially if you happen to be one of the last 5 tickets.
There you go. Unfortunately, by the time you see this episode, the drawing will already happen, but go
That's
ahead and
right.
get ready for next year.
That's exactly right.
How long have y'all been doing this drawing?
Oh gosh, I know, probably at least 10 years. And it's made its way around. A lot of times, half the fun is the venue. They used to have it at the Railway. It's been held at the Country Club a couple of times. This year, we're holding it at Sipco Wine and Beer on Church Street, right between Main Street and Saul Street. And they're going to be rolling up the doors. We anticipate good weather. Rolling up the garage doors and having it, open air. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Sipco is a lot of fun anyway. And so having this added excitement of the drawing and the money giveaway, it'll be fun. And next year, I would fully anticipate us holding it at Sipco as well. So it should be a good time.
And so we talk about some of the events we've already got going on, brand new events such as the Biscuits and Business and the continuation of the $10,000 drawing.
Right.
What are some of the other events the Chamber's planning this year?
Let's see. We plan on having probably hand in hand with Biscuits and Business. We anticipate having legislative meet and greets. We want folks to know the new Economic Development Director for Florence County. We want them to know Kevin Yoakum, our newest county administrator, and also Yamika Robinson, Lake City's newest mayor. We want to find a way to almost make it into a series where folks are catching up with their legislators, finding out what's going on a state, county, and local level.
And I think that's a great idea. And one of our regular guests here on Studio 106 is Roger Kirby, who, for those of you who do not know, he is our representative for this district.
Yes.
We had him on just a few weeks ago, and he'll be back on again in August.
That's right. That's right.
Just another way for the community to get involved.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're looking at highlighting businesses in our area, not just the local small businesses. We also want you to be aware of ice recycling, of DSM, of Nanyot. Find out more about these businesses. You may see the large business, McCall Farms, but you aren't really sure, what precisely do they do? So we're hoping to open the doors to some of those places, because a lot of those places are hiring, and that is a very important thing for our area.
More jobs in the area, more
That's
industry.
right. That's exactly
It's a very
right.
good thing.
Yes.
And so let's go ahead to the Tobacco Festival.
Uh-huh.
Tell us a little bit about that for
September
this year.
9th, we are looking forward to, we may be changing it up a little bit this year. We're not talking about everything just yet, but we anticipate it having a lot of the historic elements that it always has, and adding a few more fun things to it. And I think the public will love it. I think it'll bring folks into town.
So last year's Tobacco Festival, it
Yes.
was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we had to deal with the rain a little bit,
Yes,
didn't
we did. We sure did. We had 3 serious downpours about every 3 hours, and it was enough to shut down the laser tag, which was the mobile laser tag, which is a lot of fun. Now, the animals, the petting zoo and all that stayed, because they're animals. They're used to being out in the rain. the man in charge of the petting zoo did actually say, he said, I've gotten some ugly looks, but, I couldn't even get the rabbit to come inside. They're used to the rain. It's no big deal to them. But anyhow, but the petting zoo stayed. The car show, they put down the hoods, but they managed to stay. And so that was good. Only one dance group got rained on, and then we had one more downpour. But we did have to move the band, chairman of the board, inside the bean market, which turned out to be very nice. We had air conditioning, which is something unusual for the band during the tobacco festival. But I'm afraid that the rain hurt our crowd somewhat. But it was still a really good day.
Because I remember being out there for a little while that day, and when I pulled up, the rain had stopped. And so it was bright and sunny. So I walk out, and within a few minutes, my back is dripping with sweat from the humidity.
That's right. That's right. It started out a beautiful, coolish day, and I thought, oh, this is going to be just perfect. And then next thing you know, it rained, and I think it went up 30 degrees. And like you said, the humidity, and we're all just going, ugh, it was terrible.
Yeah, because I remember I'm pulling up to where the festival is. I see you had the holding the umbrella over your head like that. You're trying to walk across the road to see make sure stuff's still going on. And
yep, that's right.
It was just a muggy day.
It was a muddy day, but it was, like I said, it was a good day. It was fun. I think everybody that came out enjoyed it, and so we like being able to be a fun place for folks to bring their families. And it does a lot for downtown by having everything going on the Village Green, food trucks, the performances, and then right there on the East Main Green, and then in the Saul Street parking lot, you've got the car show and the kids zone. Well, that has people walking across Main Street, so they're going into the shops, they're going into the eating restaurants, and just having a good time, and touching, hopefully, almost all of downtown, not just one specific corner. If we could just figure out a way to get people across the train tracks to the other half of Main Street, that would be great. And eventually, I like to think we'll figure out a way to do that.
Always thinking ahead.
That's right.
Do you have a favorite part of the Tobacco Festival since you've been overseeing it the past few years?
Am I allowed to say Sunday? I'm just kidding. No, all of it. I like when it kicks off, and it's fun to introduce. It's fun to see the people setting up. I like seeing the kids excited to perform. I love seeing the parents and the grandparents, cheering their children on. But just the activity. One thing that really struck me in the afternoon, there tends to be a lull of an hour, maybe two. And Danny Lockamy is our master of ceremonies, and he is master of ceremonies extraordinaire. But he can talk to everybody, anybody, or nobody. But he is out there. And on this particular Saturday afternoon, it was a gorgeous afternoon. Grass is green. There are all these children, and probably ranged in age from 3 to maybe 10. I mean, every kind of child you could think of. They were throwing frisbees. They were kicking balls. They were throwing the football. But it was little boys and girls outside doing little kid things. And that's what we try to capture, is just fun, enjoying being together, enjoying who you're around, and that was probably one of the best parts that I could recall, really and truly. I love seeing the people out there enjoying. A couple of years ago, we had a band one night, and just watching everybody totally enraptured and enjoying all the music, that's also a lot of fun. And I get to interact with the band. I feed the band, so they really like me. But, and having them eat local food. Like this year, we went and got them Piggybacks barbecue. I mean, they carried on about how good it was. They loved it. So that's just another good memory with it. It really is. So I guess I enjoy every part in some way or another.
Can you tell us a little bit about any of the entertainment for this year's festival yet, or that's still to be determined?
That's still TBA, and under wraps.
Okay, so when you come back in May, hopefully we'll have a little bit more information.
I should have a little bit more information.
So that just
That's
gives
exactly
you another
right.
gives you
Little
another
tease.
reason to stay tuned
That's
in the series,
right.
folks. But
That's right.
for if people want more information about the chamber, how can they find you?
They can find us. We're on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook is Lake City _chamber. And then you can also find us on our website, www.lakecitysc.org. And that tends to be a great place to find out. But you can literally type in on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, Lake City Chamber of Commerce, Lake City, South Carolina, and you'll find us.
All right, so you know where to find them, and they're a wonderful resource for businesses.
Thank
And
you.
they put on a lot of great events, and we can't wait to see what else you have for us in store in 3 months.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
come back again in May, and we'll talk about this some more.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for joining us today, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see you next time as the City of Lake City presents Studio 106.